Okay, everybody. Sorry, so sorry for the delay. All kinds of tech issues today. But here I am, just a few minutes, well, a little more than a few minutes late. But please tell me if you can hear me. I want to make sure that I got the sound okay, because it's just going to be me tonight. And I'm really excited to have this conversation and have a chance to talk to you all and answer questions. So please go ahead and type in the chat if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or something, some other kind of positive sign. So go ahead and let me see. Oops, I see some thumbs up. Yes, very excited. Oh my gosh, here we are. Everybody is here. So thank goodness I've figured out the sound, because I have in the past messed that up, and that was not fun for everybody to have to watch me and not be able to hear me talk. So let's see. Let's dive right in and let me answer some questions. Let's see. Mommy does keto. Hey, great to see you. So you're early. Nice. And I'm late. And you're cleaning the kitchen from dinner. So that's nice. Hey, Marianne. Good to see you. Hey, Diana. Or Dinah, sorry. Nope, you're not late. Sorry about that. And Da Boom Baller, yes, I'm here. Sorry about that. It's great to see you. Oh my God, Glenda, it's so good to see you here. I haven't seen you in so long. And Angela, great to see you. All right. So you guys may have noticed that I have been putting up more videos. So now that the weather's getting nicer and I'm outside more, I just decided to just get back on it and really start making some more videos. And I will soon have some more interviews out, so I'm very excited about doing that. And I love to hear our stories. So if you have been doing the carnivore diet for a while and you feel like you have done really well, or you've turned around some health conditions, please let me know. I would love to interview you and have you on the show. So, definitely let me know and reach out. So you can always send me a message on Instagram, or you can, leave a message in this video, or email me at aday@blackcarnivore.com. I do have an email address, which I get on and check, pretty often. Dinah, I'm so glad, or Diana, I'm so glad that you like my videos. I've been enjoying doing it. I do like doing them, and now that I'm sort of starting to pull the tech together, it's become a little easier. I've tried to get things that, just make it easier so that, I'm more ready to do it. And Paulette, thank you so much. Yes, you've noticed I finally did my roots again, so my hair is looking nice and bright. And Diana, don't put a pound on it. Just reach out when you feel like you're ready. Doesn't have to be a certain pound. Just you're getting healthier and you're getting better. That alone is enough. So there's a lot of people watching, so I ask you to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you can get notification every time I go live. It really helps me, to get the word out there for you to like the video and, tell YouTube, hey, this is good stuff. Put it forward, because, they will hide and not promote stuff that is that's not, wanted or, liked. So there we go. So I would love to answer some questions. I did this on Tuesday on Clubhouse, and for those of you who were there on Clubhouse, thanks so much. I really appreciate your support, and it was great to have a chance to just talk to some new people. There were people who joined my club on Clubhouse. It's called Black Carnivore. If you need a link, definitely let me know. Just reach out to me on Instagram or by email, and I will send you a link to get invited to Clubhouse. It's now open to Android, so it is, much more, it's open to a wider audience. So, but, I have the ability to invite quite a few people. So welcome, come to Clubhouse, check it out. It is a really fun platform. So, yeah. So let's hear some questions from you. I actually got a couple of good questions from someone today asking about bone health or bone loss with a carnivore diet. And I actually thought that was pretty interesting. And I've sort of been wondering to a certain extent for myself. I don't eat any dairy, and so and I'm also not eating any plant foods. So I kind of wondered, what does that mean for my calcium consumption? And perhaps I do need to, to supplement or make more of a concerted effort to, to make sure that I'm getting calcium. So, that made me think about perhaps trying to eat canned fish every now and then, or maybe once a week or something like that, because it does, the bones in there do provide a lot of calcium. And I'm not sure how I would respond to the histamines, but I think I'm actually going to make that effort to do that, or maybe try some sardines, something like that. So we'll see. But the question that the person who reached out to me had was about bone loss and bone density. And I think, we've been educated that calcium is the most important thing for bone health. And that is, and that's the key problem and the key thing that's going on, especially for someone with osteoporosis or whatnot. But in fact, that's not the only thing that's going on. Calcium gives bones their brittleness and their firmness, but protein is what allows them to be flexible. And so if your bones are too brittle, you're actually at more risk for breaking them. And that's actually often what happens, especially with people with osteoporosis. And so, especially for women who have spent years under eating protein and also eating, a high carb diet and often trying to keep it low calorie so that they're in a deficit, not burning fat for energy, and so burning away at their own muscles even to to provide the sugar through the night, because they're still running on sugar and they're eating low calories. And your body can take some of that protein not only from your muscles but also from your bones, making your bones less flexible, which gives them more more strength and stability. You don't want to be so hard that you become like brittle. You just want to be hard, but also flexible and bendable. And that's what the protein provides. So on a carnivore diet, in fact, it's really good for your bones. It really will help a lot. And a lot of times, in the cases where somebody is not losing weight, but they look smaller while following the carnivore diet, some of that is building muscle, is your body rebuilding muscle, but some of it is it's building other things that have been underdeveloped, for years while you've been under eating protein. So that does mean your bones. It can also mean, connective tissue, ligaments. It can also mean your organs. Those have, can also have shrunk. And so there's a lot of things that can contribute to your weighing, the same, but looking smaller. So, so I thought that was interesting and, probably an important question for a lot of us. Okay. So any other questions? I'd love to hear. Another question that I get a lot and that I'm starting to explore now is, how to have faster weight loss on, on a carnivore diet. And so what I'm, doing now is, I just launched the Maximum Weight Loss Program. We started today, so that's really exciting. And I'm going to be doing it myself, and I'm going to be reporting back on what I'm doing. So I'm really excited to share that with all of you. But there in the beginning when you go carnivore, it's really helpful to, bring that fat up. That helps you get fat adapted. It helps you get comfortable and adapted to the carnivore diet. And the fat is very important in healing, healing brain, healing hormones, healing a lot of things. But, once you've healed and you've been doing it a while, you don't necessarily need all of that fat anymore. And so for some people, it can be helpful to turn to a lower fat approach. And so that's what I'm going to be trying. So I'll be sharing pictures and letting you know what that looks like. And we'll go from there. Wow. So all of you watching, definitely, head into the chat and give me a question, because I want to answer the people who have come here. I want to answer your questions. It was really interesting to hear, well, on Clubhouse, it was really interesting to hear how many people actually have heard of the carnivore diet. I mean, I feel like a year and a half ago, people just, were dumbfounded when I said the word. It was like they couldn't even figure out what I was talking about. And now I feel like, every person who has done keto has heard about carnivore and has thought about trying it. And a lot of people have tried it, and for a while, not just like for a day or two. So I've been pretty impressed with our community, and really glad that we're getting out there and we're trying it. But I want to make sure that people stay on it. It's interesting that I see people who, who get on it for like a month. They'll do it for a challenge, and then they often say, "I feel better," and then I'm like, well, if you felt better and you lost weight, like, why did you stop? But it's usually like there's a holiday or, something like that happens, and they just don't get back on. So I don't know. Let's see. The bomb baller says, I'm getting nothing. I don't know what that means. Do you not see or hear me? Because I think, I'm live. You all hear me. So I'm not sure. Maybe you should refresh your screen if you're not seeing the video. Mr. Bogglesworth, so your question is about salt. They say salt is bad for high blood pressure, but carnivore promotes us to use salt, lots of it. Is that a problem? That's a great question. Yeah, so we have been indoctrinated as a country that salt is not good, and it needs to be so salt needs to be reduced, and we need to make sure that we are not having too much. Sorry, Romeo, I just saw your message here, and I'm going to come back to that. Let's see, Mr. Bogglesworth, the salt, when you're on a high carb diet, salt is not what you want to be doing. Because you're holding on to a lot of water and you're holding on to a lot of salt. And so you don't need a lot of extra salt. But when you are on a carnivore diet and even on a keto diet, it is so anti-inflammatory that you're losing a lot of the water that you were holding on to while you were eating, high carbs. And so you can become very dehydrated, because when you lose the inflammation is water. So when you lose the water, you're peeing out all your electrolytes, all your sodium, and so you need to replace that. So that's really what's going on. And so our needs, as humans, if you're not eating carbohydrates, for your needs for salt are high, and on keto, they're high, and then on carnivore they're even higher. That's something that I've seen. Like even me going from keto to carnivore, I needed a lot more salt. So I really needed to make sure that I was very intentional about it. So that is, my explanation there. And I know I say it all the time and people hear me, and it still doesn't always sink in for people. So very often, you hear about people feeling dizzy or headachy or fatigued or, trouble sleeping or trouble going to the bathroom. All of these are typically signs of dehydration or, lack of electrolytes. So great question, Mr. Bogglesworth. And Romeo, oh my God, I had emailed you, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you want to check your spam box. But let's connect tonight after the live stream, and I want to, make sure that we get all set up. Okay, so definitely, let's see. Send me a DM and right after the live stream, and maybe I can call you through Instagram, or I'll send you my cell phone number. Hey, Large Picture, it is great to see you. And Josephine, great to see you. So let's see, Josephine's question is, what is your fat to protein consumption ratio like? I don't like counting, but sometimes I wonder if I'm getting enough fat. So, I sort of just addressed that question. So if you're just getting started with carnivore, or you're not specifically trying to lose weight, or you're trying to heal something, then you want to focus on fatty sources of meat and, and then just eat that till you're satisfied. And, and I always tell people to, look for the fattiest stuff, not what we're told is fatty, because we've been living in a low fat world for a long time. And so what we think of as fatty right now, coming off the standard American diet, is usually not very fatty. So, focusing on chuck roast, brisket, ribs, oxtails, anything from the belly, those are all like the fattiest portions. So that's where you want to focus. But I don't really do macros. Early on, I used to track and kind of count these things, but I feel like when I was counting, it led me to try to achieve a target. And then, when I was trying to do that, basically what would end up happening is I'm trying to achieve an arbitrary number instead of just focusing on the food that's in front of me. The food, fat doesn't generally come separate from meat. And so when you're trying to hit a specific, ratio, then that's going to lend itself to you trying to get pure protein and pure fat and mix them together till you get the number that you're looking for. And that is not, that's not real food. And that's not, sustainable in the long run, especially if you don't want to be counting calories. So that was the approach that, I wanted to take. But now, as I am doing a lower fat approach, I am counting and looking and keeping track. But again, I'm starting with a formula, and then I have to judge each day by how I feel, with each meal, with each day, to figure out, what is right for me. Because, a formula is an average of what, some people felt was good for them. It is not, a specific directive for you and your specific body and your specific lifestyle and all of that. So you do have to, you can start somewhere, but then you kind of have to experiment and pay attention and adjust as necessary, and keep notes. But, doing that for a couple of weeks, you will come away with the information that you need in order to really be on track. So I would, just don't get too tied up with macros, but pay more attention to how you feel, because that's the information that really matters. And thank you, Josephine. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. Let's see. Marianne says, I'm on day 2 without coffee. I got sick and took advantage of it. Do you still promote using a vitamin supplement to help with withdrawal? Yeah, if you have headaches, absolutely. Take L-tyrosine. That totally takes the headaches away. There's no reason to suffer in that pain. And, but, if you've already gone one day, it's probably only going to be one more day of, headachy feeling. So it's up to you. But I would, order L-tyrosine if you can. Let's see. And so let's see. Mr. Bogglesworth says, is canned meat frowned upon in the community? I like corned beef, not hash, tuna, etc. No, canned meat is not frowned upon. That's, I wouldn't make that the sum total of your day's food, but it's fine for fish and everything. If you have problems with histamines, then you don't want to do canned anything, because, the older food is, the more histamines it has. So that would be the only reason not to, have it. But you would know if you were having a problem with histamines. I mean, basically, the response that people have is like an allergic response. I mean, every time, you have allergies, your histamines are high, and then you take an antihistamine like Benadryl to lower that, and then you feel better. So if you start feeling, those allergy feelings, whether it's sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, itchy skin, swelling, that sort of thing, that would be a sign that you're having problems with histamines. So you might not want to eat too much canned food. But if if it doesn't bother you, knock yourself out. And, it's a great, less expensive way to get fish. Sure. Happy to answer questions. Let's see. Mary Ann. Oh, thank you for sending the super sticker. $5. I really appreciate it. And that, really helps me to be able to continue to bring you these kinds of videos and give you more information and to help you more in your journey. I love to do it, and I really appreciate all your support. So, Mommy Does Keto says, wondering, have you heard of eating meat helping with plantar fasciitis? I swear mine is gone since I've been eating more keto. Ketovore, I guess is what you meant. Yeah, I think so. Well, as I've said, and I've said many times, the two things I find, most wonderful or most important about a carnivore diet, oh my God. So one of my friends always calls while I'm doing the live stream, and I spoke to him earlier today, and I said, don't call me tonight because I'm doing my live stream. And he said, okay, I'm not going to call you. And then he's just calling me. So it's like, great. Friends really paying attention, supporting your hobbies and activities. Okay, so the things that I feel are, most important and most wonderful about the carnivore diet is that it provides, it really helps you to lower inflammation, and it helps to reverse metabolic disease. Those are, like the two biggest things. And the inflammation, can present itself in so many different ways, from, mental health stuff to physical stuff to, swelling in different places, arthritis, all of these things. And plantar fasciitis is, inflammation of the tendon underneath your foot. So if you're reducing inflammation all over your body, that's happening under your foot too. And it does help with plantar fasciitis a lot. So I had that too and found it, oh my God, how unbelievable, how painful that was. And, and how, just how difficult it was to walk. So it was really just so wonderful when I started eating keto, and it went away. It went away for me while on keto, along with doing certain foot exercises, but man, I don't envy anybody struggling with that. That was awful. Let's see. Ebenini, hey. So you say, let's see, your question is, if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, what meats are best? And do I need to eat more or less butter? So, that's a great question. And I would ask if you have, how long you have been in ketosis, and are you fat adapted, and do you have any other health problems that you're trying to address? If the answer to, to any of those is that, is that you're still healing something, or you are not yet fat adapted, or you haven't been in ketosis that long, I would say you want to continue to eat your fattier sources of meat, try to get the, more of your fat from meat in its, natural state rather than, more processed fats like butter. And continue to do that for a while. Once you get past that and you have healed like the inflammation and the other stuff that you're dealing with, then, then it would be appropriate to start leaning out and eating leaner cuts of meat. So that would be, my suggestion, but you really have to figure out, what are your goals and where you are. If you are not fat adapted and you're not good at burning fat for energy, it's going to be really hard to go leaner, and it's not going to work so well. Mommy does keto. Yeah. I don't know why my dog is like, I like to play on Thursdays around 7:30. So, everybody can watch me entertain myself with my toys and whatnot. Let's see, Marianne. Yeah, you forgot the name of the supplement. Yeah, it's L-tyrosine. And thank you, Mommy Does Keto. Yes, everybody, hit that like button. That does help me. There's a lot of people here, so I encourage you to, if you're here, to hit the like button, because that's how I'm going to continue to be able to bring you this kind of content. And I'm really, just happy to do it. I really enjoy it, and I know how important it is to be able to, to get this done, and to get on Carnivore and to keep it going. And for me, especially in the beginning, like it was so hard, not having community, not having like family or friends who, believed about this way of eating, and being, uncertain myself because it's new and I was just starting. So I, was looking for resources and people who, could give me some assurance that I'm like on the right track and not doing something totally crazy. So, this is definitely the kind of live stream that I would have loved to have access to, and I would have, I would have wanted to ask tons and tons of questions, because I was, I was nervous about it. And, and I think that I think the best of, most Americans. I think that most people, once we start getting into our mid to late 20s, are interested in being healthy and making healthy choices and trying to be healthier. And so we're given all this information about what is healthy and how to do it. And I think most of us have made, significant strides towards following those directives. And so it's really frustrating to see that, even though we're being given more and more restrictive information about how to lose weight and stay healthy and, avoid heart disease and other metabolic disease, and yet to look at the statistics, we're, going faster and faster in the wrong direction. It's not even like we're staying the same level of unhealthy or slightly increasing our unhealthy. It's like we're getting exponentially more unhealthy. And so, but we're at the same time given this message that there's nothing wrong with the foods that we're eating. It's just up to us to decide how much we're going to have. And if we're heavy or sick, we're having too much, and we are making the wrong choice. So it's frustrating being told, that there's nothing wrong with the foods that we're eating, and we should keep trying harder. And if we're not successful, it's because we're lazy or there's something wrong with us, rather than there being something wrong with the advice. But the advice is failing. What did they say? 88% of the American population has some level of insulin resistance. So that means, or diabetes. And so that means there's only 12% of the population for whom the current recommendations are working. So, I feel like, if that's not gaslighting, I don't know what is. That is just screwing with people's minds, and it is so frustrating. And, so that's why I really do want to try to get this message out there, because, I feel like I wasted so much of my life, really making an effort to restrict my food, shop at a local food co-op, buy all these fresh vegetables and chop them up and do my meal prep for the week and spend hours doing that and spend, lots of money looking for organic chicken and organic this and, organic fish and all the, healthiest wild caught stuff. And, I spent time getting cookbooks and taking classes and learning about this stuff. I spent, hours on the, at the gym on like the elliptical and stuff like that. And all of that stuff, like all of that time could have been spent, doing more targeted, weight training exercises and eating a carnivore diet. And then I still would have had, thousands of hours that could have been devoted to, achieving world peace, ending racism, ending homelessness. I don't know, whatever I would have thought to put my mind on. So I hate to see other people struggling and, wasting valuable time and energy on, instructions that just don't work. So I am so grateful for all of you being here and being willing to, willing to consider eating this way and trying to incorporate this into your life. Because I know once you do it even for a little while, you're going to discover how amazing you feel. And then, it's up to you to decide if you want to continue doing that. But at least once you get to that point, and you know how amazing this can be. And, and then you kind of decide how you want to go from there. So anyway, that was like my whole... my diatribe there, my raison d'etre. Let's see. Josephine asked, do I know of any carnivore meetups and would I consider doing one? Yeah, totally. So we do have one in New York City that we do. Well, we're supposed to do it like the first Saturday of the month. And, I'm sort of an organizer, so, just by nature. So, I was sick and then, and I had that funeral, so I didn't, the last month I didn't get myself together, but, for June, I guess that's not this weekend, but next weekend, I will try to reconvene the New Yorkers and, bring us back together for a meetup. And I did speak to someone who's in upstate New York who wanted to organize a meetup around an activity rather than food. I think, and, she made a great point for so many of us, for adults in America, like there's just there's no place for you to gather without buying food or something. There's really not a lot. We just don't socialize or gather outside of the context of food or alcohol. So when we start to eat this way, many of us are not drinking anymore. We're not eating the same stuff. So it's like, you don't really, there's no, desire anymore to go to, I don't know, TGI Fridays or wherever people go. But there's no reason to go to those kinds of places to get, apps and junk food and, and sweet alcoholic drinks. So then the question is, how do you come together with people and socialize if you don't want to do it around food? And so she was thinking about, couldn't we have some like carnivore kayaking, carnivore hiking, like carnivore horseback riding. And I thought that was a great idea, especially now. I love to go hiking, and in years past, like I've joined the Appalachian Mountain Club so that I could, just like have a group to go hiking with. And I've, also just, gone on my own. So I didn't go hiking much last summer, but now I'm definitely feeling the desire to do it again. So I might, I don't know if there's people in the tri-state area who are interested in going on a hike this summer, let me know, because I will, I'll definitely organize it. Okay. Let's see. Tony James asks, how do I cook my red meat, rare, medium, or well done? I used to do more rare, and then now I'm probably more medium to medium well. it's just a matter of taste. I don't think it matters. Whatever you like is the way to go. So, don't do too much. But for the tougher cuts of meat, less cooking is probably going to be better. So my London broil, I try to, when I air fry it, it's probably closer to medium rare. But, yeah. But I like to chew, I think I prefer my meat a little more cooked. Let's see. Marianne says, yes, I would love a local meetup in San Diego. There are a few things to do without involving food and drinks. There are so few things to do. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what you can do, Marianne, and I did for a while. I set up a meetup, a carnivore meetup on meetup.com. So I don't know if you all are familiar with that website, meetup.com, but it's basically allows you to set up a group around, a common interest or activity or thing that you like to do. And anybody who lives in the, nearby area who's interested in that thing can join the meetup, and then you all meet up in some public place and you do that thing. So I had a carnivore one, and we did it on Zoom. So we just had a Zoom conversation. But that, that might be a way to start. Set up a San Diego Carnivores. Paul Saladino lives in San Diego. Maybe he'll take you surfing. You should give that a try, actually. That might actually be very fun. I don't know if you surf. Do you do ocean stuff, Marianne? Okay, Esther, hey, I'm so glad you're here, and thank you. I'm so glad you like my hair. I did my roots, so I'm looking nice and bright. But let's see, it's been a long time. Yeah, it definitely has. So in North Carolina, you have a lot of nice parks to gather at. Yeah, parks are, of course, awesome, and I go to the park by my house every day. So for sure one should gather there, but sometimes I like a little quiet in nature, and that's not possible at the parks up here. Even though they're pretty big and they're pretty wooded, there's still a lot of people. But yeah, definitely get out and do that kind of thing. But still, even like here, every weekend, what people are doing is bringing blankets, and they're going out to the park, and they're having groups of people, and they're bringing tons of food and tons of alcohol, and they sit there all day drinking and eating. So it's still happening. I mean, there, at least, you're not buying it at a restaurant, but, it's still drinking and eating. So, Josephine, California. Yeah, you guys, you should pair up and try to organize one in California. Every state should have its own carnivore meetup for sure. And Mr. Bogglesworth, thank you so much for the super sticker. That really means a lot to me. This is, how I'm able to, to continue to host these kinds of things and to answer these questions and to support you through your carnivore journey. So I really appreciate it a lot. And I'm really excited. I'm actually working on a blog, on a website, which will also have a blog, but a total website. So there will be finally a full home for Black Carnivore on the internet, and that will be the place that you go to for all information about everything that's happening in our community, and lots of information and whatnot. So hopefully that will come out soon. It is, it's taking a lot longer than I expected, but, I guess this is how things go. Things always take longer. And the other thing that I wanted to announce as well, so I'm going to announce it after the commercial break. So I made something special for you. I can't believe I almost forgot this. And I am going to go to it now. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Whoop, why is this not working?
The thing about the carnivore diet is that I just can't see myself not eating potato chips.
Well, that's no problem, because now we have carnivore chips.
What do you mean?
Yeah, let me show you. How is my bag empty already?
You mean to tell me that these aren't leg of lamb Frito-Lays?
Are you kidding me?
My bad. They were delicious, though.
Well, you can make it up to me by ordering a new batch from Carnivore Crisps, and if you use my code BLACKCARNIVORE, you get 10% off your first order.
That sounds like a deal.
All right, then. Okay. So I think you can all see me now. So anyway, I'm trying to do more creative stuff, fun stuff, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I will continue to try to make more of those. So the thing that I wanted to announce though is my birthday is coming up, and it is a big one. I am turning 50. It is what I consider to be my midlife now. I'm aiming for living to 100, so 50 is officially middle aged. And so of course, this is happening in a pandemic, so I think that I'm going to do it on Zoom, but I definitely want to do something kind of big and kind of fun. So I would love for you all to be involved, to come hang out for sure. And if any of you have thrown a any kind of a fun celebration on Zoom that has worked out well, please reach out to me and tell me what you did, because I don't really know and I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to do it. But I'd like to make this a special one. So yeah. Let's see, Mr. Bogglesworth. Yeah, you're looking forward to the site. Awesome. The website will be really cool. And Marianne says, surfing with Paul Saladino? Nah, he only wants to go bee hunting. I know, right? Glad you like the laugh track, Mr. Bogglesworth. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Mommy does keto. She thinks it was cute. Future in acting, perhaps. Hey, it's fun. It really is fun. And of course, don't forget to order your Carnivore Crisps, because they are really good. And the reason why I have to always do my videos and my photos with them with empty bags is because I get them, I eat them over the next couple of days, and then I'm like, oh man, I gotta make some videos about them, and all I've got is empty bags left. So there you go. Now you know the secret. So thank you, Mommy Does Keto, and Esther, thank you. I really appreciate that I don't look my age, so thank you. Yes, Carnivore has suited me very, very well, and it'll keep you looking good for a long time, I think. Buffalo Bill, yes, thank you. Yes, mid-30s, I appreciate that. That really that makes me feel good. And Esther, yes, my shoulders look so toned. Thank you. I do not now, but I have, and I do think that has that played a big role in shaping my physique. But now with the maximum weight loss program, I am incorporating kettlebells. So we'll see. I may look quite buff by the end of the summer. Swinging this kettlebell around. So we'll see. Let's see. Oh, Johnny G, hey, welcome. So glad you're here. So any more questions? Anybody have any more questions about Carnivore? Or tell me how your journey is going. What's happening? What would you say, is what's the thing that you are most happy seeing resolved following, following this way of eating? I was most, I guess for me, the biggest thing was, well, I mean, the asthma. That was, a huge thing. But I think even before then, it was like the energy I had. I was really surprised because on keto, I like when I went from the standard American diet to keto, I felt my energy just soared. Once I got fat adapted and was running on ketosis, I felt so much better. And I just had so much energy and I felt great. And so I kind of didn't think that I could feel better than that. And then when I went carnivore, it was just like, oh my God, like I had no idea that I, felt so bad before. Like it was, there was just a new high that was so much higher than what I had been accustomed to. And so that was, really, really surprising and just delightful. So I'd love to hear, from you, what are some of the things that were really pleasantly surprising for you? Let's see. Buffalo Bill asks, do I eat any organ meats? I've been scared off of liver now, but I love the taste of heart. Why were you scared off of liver? I mean, if you like liver, you should eat it. If you don't like liver, don't eat it. And if you like heart, absolutely eat it. There's stuff in heart, I guess it's that CoQ10 that you can't get in any other part of the body, and it is really, really helpful and nutritious. So if you like heart, absolutely eat it. And I'll tell you, with heart, there's if you can slice it really thin and dehydrate it, and it gets crispy like actual potato chips. The first time I made jerky, I made it from heart, and somehow I did it. I mean, and I've never done it before, and I have never been able to quite, replicate what I did then. But they were like potato chips. Now, I don't love the taste of heart, so I ate some of it, but mostly I had gotten the heart for my dog anyway. But mostly I gave it to her, and I just listening to her eat it, it was like listening to somebody eating Pringles in the house. It was like, where is this crunch coming from? Yeah, so knock yourself out, eat your heart out. Eat liver if you like it. If you don't like it, don't eat it. I don't tend to, well, first of all, there's a lot of organ meats, and we have somehow decided that liver, heart, and kidney are all the organ meats. But in fact, fat itself is an organ. So we're all eating organ meat all the time. Many would consider eggs to be, if not I mean, they are, the entire animal in miniature form. So some, think of them as organs. So we all eat that, or many of us eat that. Bone marrow is also an organ, incredibly delicious, amazing. Definitely eat it. Cartilage, that's we're all if you're eating oxtails or you're eating other, parts of the animal, you're getting a lot of that cartilage, and it is delicious and also, an organ, you could say. So, think a little bit more broadly about organs and try some different stuff. Cheeks are very fatty, so you should definitely give those a try, and that will, that's, I guess we would probably consider that to be an organ. So that being said, no, I don't really eat so much organs. I eat fat, I eat bone marrow, and it's been a long while now since I've made any liver pate, but I used to make that, pretty, every so often I would have a taste for liver. So, so that would be kind of how I did it. So there you go. Let's see, Marianne, for me, carnivore is for better mood and decreased anxiety. They are life-changing for me. Yeah, absolutely. It's really amazing what carnivore does for the mental health and for the brain. So if any of you have been struggling and you feel like you like you're struggling with your mental health, like this is the finest, the best, and the most effective, and I feel like the quickest acting thing that you can do. I hate to hear about, I have a lot of friends who, like want to do the healthy thing, and so they don't have meat very often. They try to do meatless Mondays, or they aim to have vegan meals or raw vegan meals, and then they also struggle with anxiety and depression and overwhelm, and it's kind of like, there's a lot to be depressed about, anxious about, and overwhelmed about in the world. But when you're also adding not eating nutrient-dense food, it's just making that so much worse. And so, it's important. Your brain health is really important, and that is definitely something to prioritize. So, so I love that you do that, Marianne. Let's see, Mr. Bogglesworth. Knowing what I know now, would I go straight to carnivore if I could do it all over again? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Why would I would not have wasted time in keto. And if I could have done this 10 years ago when I first heard about carnivore, man, I wish I had done it then. I really do. But I'm here now. That's all I can do. And hopefully I can help other people, get here earlier. And, I think, God, if I had started eating this way in my 20s, I'd be, I'd just be in great shape. So my life would be so different if I had been eating this way from a younger age. I don't know. I would have, solved brought about peace in the Middle East. I don't know. The whole world would be different. Let's see. Esther says, carnivore has shown me that when I stray, I have strayed, my body lets me know that it doesn't agree with the things other than meat. Maybe a little veggies. Yeah. I think, once we start eating this way, our bodies they're like, oh, thank God, you're finally feeding me. Whatever, horrible war or famine has been going on in the world, it is finally over and you're feeding me. I think that's what our bodies say. So I agree. And so when I stray, it just, all of the weak spots in my body, all the particular places that my body, struggles, those are the places that blow up, so skin, inflammation, asthma, those are the places that I know are going to be a problem. So, that does help me stay on the straight and narrow, because I really don't want those. I don't want to feel that way again. I don't want to feel bad anymore. I really don't like feeling bad. Okay, Buffalo Bill says, Judy Cho went through some interviews about liver and vitamin A toxicity. Yeah, I guess there is that, I wouldn't go out and eat, a whole bear liver, or a whole cow liver. Livers are big. And these animals are fairly big. But if you like liver and have it, weekly, I don't know. I can't see the problem with that. So many of us grew up having liver weekly for dinner. So there's not really a lot of history of people who are eating liver in normal circumstances having that, be a problem. I guess if you are eating a lot of liver and that's all there is to eat, then that potentially, that's could be a problem. But don't do that. To have it once a week, and and limit it to that. But I guess I'll have to check out her series of interviews, because I have heard about that. But I just can't see how that's a problem if you're eating a reasonable amount of liver. And I don't think it's something that needs to be eaten every day, and I don't think that you need to measure, and have a specific number of ounces. I do think that, your body, your body's always communicating with you about what it needs, what it wants, what you need more of, what you need less of. And once you start eating carnivore, you have to take out the sugar and the vegetable oils in order to be able to hear, because both those things create a lot of noise and you're not going to be able to hear or really tell anything. But once you take those out, I'm sure all of you have noticed, like, how keenly you're aware of how you respond to food. And so, and this is why I don't push organ meats, is that, if you are repulsed by it, like, that's a sign from your body that for whatever reason, this food is not right for you. I think it's important to try things periodically, your tastes change, and, and your body has to be aware of a food in order to, send you a signal to eat it or not. So, you should try, everything once or twice. But if you are really repulsed by something, you shouldn't eat it. And I think that when we get on this track, like with Paul Saladino, where, there's just endless lists of vitamins and minerals and supplements and things that you must take, every day, or the world is going to collapse. You get into this habit of relying on someone else telling you what you need and not listening to, the one person who really has all the information. Like, your own body knows exactly what you need. So you need only listen to those signs and signals to actually land in the right spot. So I would be surprised if you would end up eating liver to toxicity if there's a normal circumstance where, there's an ample variety of food for you to choose from. Like, if you're starving and all there is liver, then of course you're going to eat it, and perhaps you will, end up in a toxic situation. But, if it's just something you buy at the grocery store, when you don't feel like eating it anymore, you won't eat it. So those are my thoughts there. Let's see. Oh, Yasmin, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it, your support. And this is the kind of thing that helps us to get educated, get knowledgeable, get healthy, and get out there and, be Black Carnivore warriors. So I love to see people here and people supporting. And let's see, you say almost 2 years in Ketovore, but my total cholesterol is still rising at 430. Your HDL and triglycerides are fine, but kind of worried. So, Yasmin, I would suggest that you check out my video. I published an interview with Dr. Ovadia, who is the carnivore cardiologist. And he lost like 100 pounds on a carnivore diet, and he is a cardiac surgeon. And I asked him all of these kinds of questions, all the questions that we all get, eating this way, eating all this meat, isn't it going to clog your arteries? Aren't you going to drop dead of a heart attack? Aren't you worried about cholesterol? All of those kinds of questions, he answered them really, I think, in a very easy to understand way. So I would recommend you check out that video. And, I don't really, I'm not a doctor. I certainly cannot give medical advice. So I understand your concern, because we're getting a lot of conflicting messages from the medical field. So, at 430, I probably would try to reach out to his office. He does do telemedicine, so you can see him remotely, and you can ask him those questions. 430 is high. No question. But whether that's necessarily a problem, I don't know. But I would go see him, and you can feel secure that you're getting advice from somebody who respects your food choices, and who is going to try to offer you the best advice that's going to work with your dietary approach. So and let me know if you go in to see him. Let me know how that goes. I also have a video called 5 BIPOC carnivore friendly doctors. And so if you don't go to see Dr. Ovadia, you should check out that video. There are 5 doctors who all are supportive and understanding of the carnivore diet. Most of them have tried it. None of them are, continuously doing it, but most of them have tried it, and they have prescribed it in their practice as well. So, you can reach out to one of them, and also the carb addiction doc. He also does telemedicine, and he might be, and he does the carnivore diet. So he follows it himself. So he might be a good source as well. So, but good luck with that. And let's see, Michelle Pierre says, hey, Ada, you look great. Does carnivore improve glucose levels? Thank you, Michelle. And yes, it does. Like, it is just like a carnivore diet is a ketogenic diet. So it brings you all the same benefits that you hear about that have to do with keto, so it reverses, it reverses the signs of metabolic syndrome, which, are the things that lead to the metabolic diseases that we know today: diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and even cancer is considered to be a disease of chronic inflammation, and that chronic inflammation leads to damage in the mitochondria, and then that's how cells can go on to become cancerous. So, dealing with inflammation is a huge deal, and that is, and that's all part of the metabolic syndrome. So, I guess I never quite remember all of this. So there's 5 signs of metabolic syndrome, and if you have 3 or more, you're considered to have metabolic syndrome. So that would be, a large waist, high blood glucose or blood sugar, high blood pressure, high triglycerides, and I think high LDL. So if you have, some combination of those, you're considered to have metabolic syndrome. And those are the things that lead you to having diabetes, high blood pressure, which can lead to stroke, and cardiovascular disease. So, yes, a carnivore diet will help to reverse your insulin resistance, thus, lowering your blood glucose. So some people who eat a high amount of protein might find that their fasting blood glucose goes up a bit. So instead of being in the 80s, it might be in the 90s. But if all other things are fine and you're healthy in other ways, there's an argument that that's not a problem. I do test my blood glucose, my fasting blood glucose. I think that it is it's a helpful number. It gives you some more information than you think about what's going on. And it used to be that I tested ketones all the time. Now I hardly ever, because, I'm always in ketosis, and now my ketones are very low generally. So, I don't know. It's interesting that, now I'm testing something different more often. Let's see. Large Picture says, I think the Judy Cho interview was more to the opinion of the doctor being interviewed. I don't know if she thinks that way. I think your body will tell you when you've had enough liver. Yeah, absolutely. I think so many of us are like reading magazines and getting information from our doctors and stuff. And so, we're elevating information from other people and devaluing the information from our bodies. And so in that case, you do have people like ignoring, clear and obvious signs that they're doing something wrong. But we're not like that, because on carnivore, we value feeling good. And once you start feeling good, you want to, you want more of feeling good. And so, you start paying attention to those things, and you start removing the things that make you feel bad. So there you go. Let's see. Esther, thank you so much for the super sticker. You guys have been so generous tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope that is a sign that I am sharing some really helpful and useful and powerful information. So I'm going to take that as a, great validation. Thank you. And let's see. Yeah, so Esther, you say that you find it works wonders for glucose levels. So you've seen your glucose go down. And it's interesting for other things. Like I worked with someone who wasn't trying so much to lose weight, but found her blood pressure drop by 20 points. And it had been high for, it had been 20 points high for a long time. She hadn't been able to get it to come down, had been on medication, blah, blah, blah. Nothing did anything. And then, a couple weeks of carnivore and boom. Her blood pressure is perfectly normal. So, it does a lot. It's not a small, thing at all. Okay, so Michelle, yeah, no problem. And Esther, IF along with carnivore or with keto brings those levels to an optimal reading. It also doesn't take a lot of fasting. Yeah, absolutely. Fasting paired with keto or carnivore, it can be a really, really powerful tool. So I've had a love-hate relationship with fasting. So if fasting doesn't work for you or you feel like it triggers you, don't worry about it. You're getting fantastic benefits from eating carnivore alone. And, I think we should all sort of normalize not eating between dinner and breakfast. So, even on the most modest level, you're getting a 12 to 14 hour fast every night. That's good. You're doing great. If that's all you're doing great. If you're doing more and you're comfortable with it, that's great too, but you don't have to. But I should probably do another video on fasting again soon. Like I had some videos, I was really trying to do fasting, but I found it was just hard. It was very hard for me and kind of triggering. So, but that's me. Not everybody has that experience. So, let's see. Marianne asked how I'm feeling now post-COVID. I, feel good as new. I feel like I'm back to my, my old self. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. My family was family and friends were pretty worried. And I guess at the time I didn't quite get the seriousness of it. And I'm really thankful to have come out, with feeling fine, feeling good, and, feeling fully recovered. Because I see now, and certainly in reading and hearing things from people that, there's plenty of people that struggle with, symptoms for months, or who, and of course, we know people who have passed away. So, it's definitely a serious thing, and I'm very thankful that I did so well, and I definitely am respectful of the people who struggled and continue to struggle with the illness. But I do definitely feel that the carnivore diet, having been on it before I got COVID and during the course of the disease, if I hadn't been eating that way, I think things would have turned out a lot different. So I really wish that I could get more people I knew to go keto, go carnivore, or at least just put the candy bars and ice cream down, because that promotes so much inflammation, and that is just like that's like the enemy when it comes to fighting any kind of disease. When you're inflamed, your immune system is engaged in dealing with the inflammation and not able to put its full focus on dealing with the disease itself. So that's why inflammation really matters when you're sick. But there you go. Thank you for asking. And Marianne, you ask, you're not a fan of forced fasting either. it is, yeah, it can be triggering. I mean, especially if you have a long history of dieting and issues with body and body image, and, you know, if you're an emotional eater, all of those things, like fasting is just probably not going to work for you. But if you don't, you know, if you don't really have that history, then it's probably fine. Okay, so I see the bomb baller says, do I feel that it's good to take a break from carnivore from time to time? No. No. I don't see any reason to come off of it. I mean, I think that people have the idea that they're, some people think that it's important to do a carb refeed. I don't really understand why. I sort of get it when you're talking about a performance athlete who needs the sugar to actually do their, you know, whatever their sport is. And, you know, I mean, because there's so much energy expenditure happening, like there's a greater need for energy. And so there is a need for some sugar. So there are people like, I hear about, Zach Bitter, that's that, you know, the ultra marathon runner, and Michelle Hearn, who's the author of the book, The Dietitian's Dilemma. She's also a long distance runner. And so when, she's training, and also doing the, you know, the actual race, that like a 100-mile race, or I think she just did a 45-mile race. You know, she said she eats sourdough bread. I guess there's something about the sourdough that doesn't cause as much of a problem for her. But, you know, and maybe like potatoes, like sweet potatoes and stuff. But she said she needed more energy in order to actually do all of that, you know, running. But when she's not training, then she goes, you know, back to carnivore. So if, you know, you're an athlete, you might have, you know, more specific needs. But if you're just a regular person, like I can't see a reason why you would want to go off of, yeah, I don't know. I can't see a reason to go off of carnivore. I think all you're doing is like reintroducing foods that irritate you. And, you know, and it just makes it hard to kind of come, you know, in and out of ketosis. Like, well, I don't know if you're going off with chocolate cake or you're talking about going off with like a salad, but, it's just, you know, can be irritating. Let's see. Oh, Angel, nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And yeah, that's a very different name. So now I remember you from Clubhouse. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Esther says, to be honest, what you and Marianne just said about fasting being a trigger is what was happening with me, but only at times. Now I fast, but when my body says eat, I try to eat. Yeah, absolutely. I think you just have to find the right fasting, you know, system or routine for you. And I wouldn't call, you know, so when, you know, when I say to people, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, don't eat again until you're hungry again. You know, that's not fasting. That's just eating like we're supposed to. You're supposed to eat when you're hungry and not when you're not, and then eat again when you're hungry again. And if that length of time is, you know, 2 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, you know, whatever that length of time is, that's what it is, you know? So, Esther, if you're eating when you're, you know, eating when you're hungry and then not eating again until you're hungry again, that's just regular eating. You know, it's not, you don't have to call it fasting. But, you know, when people have specific hours and times that they eat, that can end up being triggering, I think, for people, for some people. But if it's not for, you know, if it's working for you, that's great. It is so easy to, you know, it's an easy approach to just kind of make, you know, to kind of control your eating that way, and it kind of helps you when you're out in the world and you feel like you can't really control your food, or you can't get the type of food that you want or need. That makes it, if fasting can be, really helpful then too, but it's okay. Wow, we have had a great conversation tonight, and again, I ask you to click the like button, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you can get notification every time I go live. And I think I'm gonna try to do this Q&A thing pretty often. Angel, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super sticker, $20. That is awesome. So thankful. I'm really happy to provide all of this information for everybody. So I think I do want to keep doing this. So on Tuesday, I will again go live on Clubhouse at 8 p.m. If you need an invite, send me a DM in Instagram, and I will get you an invite. I'll get you in, and then I will do this Q&A again, not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. So next Thursday, Arian will be back, and I don't know what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be funny. And, we'll just be our weird, geeky Black Carnivore selves. And, there you go. But the following week, I will do the Q&A again. So, save up your questions, be ready. And bring your friends, get everybody to come in here. It would be great if we, had quite a few people in here who were asking questions and spreading the word about carnivore. Okay, Marianne, thanks so much. Yes. And Esther, thank you. I'm so glad you tuned in as well. It was really awesome to see you. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap up now, and sorry for the delay this time, but I do always show up, even if it does have to be a little bit late sometimes. I hope you enjoyed the commercial. Order the Carnivore Crisps, or tell other people to order them, and I will try to have some other commercial for something else next week. It was really fun trying to do that, and reminded me of my old days in high school or college, trying to come up with like an SNL, fake commercial or something like that. Very, just a little, creative outlet. So anyway, I will see all of you soon. It was great to see you tonight. And Romeo, I'll be talking to you shortly. All right, everybody, have a great night, and I'll see you next week.